Latinos in Acción with Yesenia Taveras is your local program for information in education, health, laws, business, and more. Latinos in Acción is the only program for the Latin community in Delaware. Welcome. I'm Yesenia Taveras, and today on Latinos in Acción con Yesenia Taveras, we'll be highlighting Latin musician artist Luis Menendez, who is highly regarded as a composer, educator, pianist, and conductor. Luis Menendez performed a free concert here at the Christina Cultural Arts Center to a group of young children, and Latinos in Acción was there to capture it. Luis Menendez has earned a reputation for exceptionally sensitive and powerfully dramatic musicianship at the podium as an opera conductor, on stage collaborating in recital, and at the piano as a vocal coach.
I've always been able to collaborate with people as a musician, and I enjoy making music alone and doing my solo piano work, but I think what's really satisfying is when you meet somebody or a group of somebodies and you start making music with them and things click and you start communicating at a different level that is much more satisfying than, say, locking yourself up in a room and doing your own thing.
Originally from Manhattan, New York, Latin musician Luis Menendez has conducted more than 140 opera productions in the United States, Europe, Israel, and Japan.
I was very fortunate to have a high school teacher who recognized that I had some gifts and I had taught myself how to play piano. And she approached my parents and said, "Your son needs piano lessons." And I know we could not afford it at the time, but my choir director, actually, I'm sure, helped arrange so that I could afford to take piano lessons in the beginning. And I'm very blessed because of that. It was amazing. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for that high school teacher. But I think I was very self-motivated in the beginning. I did teach myself how to read music. I taught myself how to play the piano by finding a bunch of books in the bench of the piano that we got when some neighbors moved away out of town. The short story of that is I used to go over and just pick out tunes in their garage on this beat-up old piano. And when they were leaving town and they were moving, they said, you know, "Would your son like to have our piano because he's the only one that ever plays on it?" I said, "Please, yes, please." And so we got this piano. In the bench was a whole bunch of books on how to study piano, and so I just read them.
Menendez served on both faculties of the Curtis Institute of Music and the Academy of Vocal Arts for a number of years after his graduate studies at Temple University.
Yeah, I've spent most of the last 20 years of my career in educating and passing the torch. I was very fortunate early on to work with some really great pianists, some really great musicians of all sorts. And now I love inspiring kids the way that my teachers had inspired me. And I teach a lot. I go and do master classes. I've been involved in many summer festivals. I have some private students at home, and but I don't have a favorite. I can't say, well, I love opera more than this, or I love chamber music more than that, or I love solo music. It's all equal for me, and I like to compose too, so I have lots of different muses whispering in my ear.
At the Christina Cultural Arts Center in downtown Wilmington, Menendez was able to inspire a group of young kids through his free performance.
The only thing I hope to gain is if one of those kids out there, something clicked with them, and it is actually in them that they are able to get the confidence together to believe in whatever it is they are dreaming in and follow their dreams. That is the most exciting thing for me. That would be a great goal to have for today's thing. The other smaller, lower level of goals would be just to bring some sort of awareness to these young people that anything is possible today, still is. You don't have to be a snob you don't have to have money, you don't have to come from a cultured family to understand this music and to be an artist of any sort, whether it's painting or drawing or pottery or sewing or dancing.
In a lot of elementary, middle, and high schools, students are not getting involved in the music industry. It could be learning a new instrument, singing. It's just that attendance has dropped remarkably over the past few years. What advice would you give to children that would encourage them to get involved?
We are sitting in a very inspirational place right now. We're sitting at the Christina Cultural Arts Center in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's this kind of place that provides the petri dish, so to speak, for these germs of ideas and creativity to come together and grow. And I encourage young people and their parents more than the young people themselves, because not often do the young people pick up a phone book and try to find these places, but to seek these places out wherever they may be in whichever community and bring their children here. Let them make music and art and be creative with other kids their own age and kids that are older than them as well, because that they will find inspiration in that. I grew up personally in a very isolated area of northern New Jersey, in Sussex, New Jersey, and there were about 6 other students in my high school that were talented, but it was a small high school and it was hard. It was good for us to hang together and sort of be creative together. I wish we had a bigger place. I wish we had a Christina Cultural Arts Center there where more of us could have gotten together to create music and art of the future. And I think what they're doing here is fantastic. But my suggestion would be to have the parents seek these kinds of places out and allow their kids to take these classes.
What role did music play in your childhood?
I think for everyone, music and the arts serve as a different sort of energy source, for lack of a better term. There were parts of my childhood that were very difficult and very painful. And I know there are lots of children out there who have experienced similar pains and sufferings and for lack of better terms, abuse. For me, music was my peace of mind. It became my salvation, so to speak, and it became a place where I could believe in beauty and abundance and allow for room for possibility. And I still believe that today. I believe when I sit down and play the piano, I go to a place that is uninhabited by these demons of the past and annoyances of the present that we have in our society. And I think today, of all times, children need this. Children need to know that there's more to life than the latest video on your iPod or your iPad or your this or your whatever the latest technological advances. That sitting down and making music, creating a sound that is acoustic, that is a sound that you can feel, something that is visceral, that actually vibrates through you, and not is created electronically through a amplification system. This is a level of communication that needs to be nourished, and I believe once the students experience it, they are transported to another place.
Beyond the simple pleasures associated with music, it is also important to think about the other benefits music provides.
You learn to solve problems in this industry, in this business of music. You learn to solve mathematical problems. It's been proven that you can deal with math problems easier when you learn music. There was a professional football team, I can't quote which one it was because I don't remember right now, that tried giving the football team ballet for a year. And injuries went down like 72% that season, just because the football players all of a sudden became more flexible. So when they fell, they didn't break something. There's so many pluses to this industry in the real world and other aspects of the world that are just numerous. The problem-solving thing is very important. Figuring out which finger goes where, and then once you figure that out, it's like, okay, on to the next problem, and you have a sense of accomplishment.
That was the highlight of today's show. If you have a great story idea or event you would like featured on Latinos en Acción con Yesenia Taveras, send me an email or give me a call at 302-576-2119. I'm Yesenia Taveras. Thank you for watching and have a great day.